Right, so hello, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you the top 10 best Ark Tames, as I haven't really done a top 10 like this, which doesn't really make sense considering all of the top 10s on my channel. I can't find one too similar to it, so I'm going to do the top 10 best Ark Tames. So without further ado, let's just get straight into it, shall we? Either way, in at number 10, we have got the Bionics. Now, this is a favorite creature of mine. I really do love this thing for all of the abilities that it has, and also the fact that it is simply one of the best caving creatures out there. I really can't love the Bionics enough. It is so good. It's so easy to tame as well. It's just a very simple knockout, and then you feed it fish meat. It could not be simpler. It is so great to tame yourself a Bionics and take it through all those caves. And caving is a very, very useful thing in Ark. You need those artifacts to do those bosses, so it makes sense why you're going to need a Bionics in the best Ark Tames list. It's just, it goes hand in hand, really. In at number 9, we have got the Spinosaurus, and I feel like this doesn't get enough credit. The Spino is an absolutely great carnivore, and it has tons of mobility, the hydration buff, and is great for doing underwater caving as well. And it can stand on top of its hind legs too and deal even more damage on top of, you know, what it would do in its normal, not bipedal state. And the thing is, this Spino is just so packed full of abilities and still does a good amount of damage, actually in a lot of cases more damage than the Rex, so that it's still a very viable boss mount. And I don't think enough people think about Spinos as a boss mount, but I really think you should. Well, yes, the Rex is potentially the way to go for you with a higher health stat. I still think the Spino does deserve a shout out, and I think it is one of the best Ark creatures out there just because of how versatile it is, all the abilities it has, and really what it can do as a creature. I think it is well deserving of the list. In at number 8, we have got the Allosaurus, and come on, this creature is one of those where I think you sort of have to put it on the list. I would maybe tie hands and hands with it with the Carno because of just how simple and easy the Carno is to tame. But I'm going to leave the Carno off the list today and talk about the Allo instead. This is a truly fantastic carnivore and is capable of so much as a creature. Of course, they have a lot of mobility under their belt, and on top of that, the pack buff. Of course, if you get 3 or more, you're going to get that pack buff, and they're going to deal even more damage. On top of mate boost as well, you really can't go wrong, and they deal bleed too. It's just abilities on abilities on abilities. You may think of the Allos as more weak, than the Rex, and in some cases you would be right, but especially when you get loads of them ganged up, no creature really can stand a chance, and the Allo definitely does deserve a spotlight on the best Ark creatures out there. And I know there's one of you in the community where your username is like the X Allosaurus. This one's here for you. I'm doing this one for you because you like the Allo so much, and you know, I kind of do have to agree with you. The Allo is a really cool and really great creature, and I do really, really like the Allo. So, in number 7, we have got the Rex. Come on, this does need to be here at the end of the day. You may not like that Allosaurus that I put the Rex higher than the Allo, but considering what the Rex has actually done for us, I think it is the better creature. It is just generally great for boss fights, and it has got great versatility. It's a very well-rounded creature. It does decent damage. It has a great health stat. While its weight and stamina aren't the best, and so is its mobility, that doesn't matter too much in boss fight scenarios, especially in Ark when it's more kind of point click and do a thing. That's not really too much of an issue in my opinion. The Rex has just always been around for us, and I think it has had, and it still continues to have, a lot of use within the Ark community, which is why I simply have to put it on the list. At number 6, we have got the Tyrannus, and this is just great for doing any kind of bosses. And you know, while technically not necessary, I still think it does deserve to be here because of that buff. Of course, the Courage Roar is such an insane ability to withhold. It is great that the UC has a Courage Roar on top of the, you know, the Fear Roar as well, but that is not very useful for boss fights. If someone's trying to rage your base in PvP with a Pteranodon, just feral them with a UT and, you know, they're going to be doing just fine. Well, you are, they're not, because they won't have control of their mount. Just a nice PvP tip if you didn't know that already. But yeah, love the UT to bits. Came out in 2017, which is always later than I expected, but I still love the creature to death and use it every time I go into a boss fight, apart from the Moda. Don't use it for that one. In number 5, we have got the Rhino, and I know this is sort of a new creature, but it is innovated a lot in the space, and I think it deserves to be here with, you know, all of what this creature can give. It spawns the swamp biome on the island and Lost Island, and it is truly a great flyer. It can get around with amazing speed. It can carry vaults around with loads of stuff in it that you can put in, and it basically just becomes an infinite weight hack. They deal a very nice amount of damage and can absolutely demolish through bases. They're more of a PvP creature. This is sort of more a PvE oriented list, but I still have to chuck this thing right bang in the middle, the best Ark creatures, as I think it does stand up quite well, and there's a lot of good in this creature. You could argue to put the UT in this spot, but I'm going to put the Rhino here, as I sort of slightly think it is a little bit better, but just by a touch. At number 4, we have got the RG. Now, please don't take this away from me. The RG is my favorite sort of flyer out there. I know there is another flyer down on the list in at the number 2 spot, but the RG has sort of done the most for me as a flyer. It's just that has something else which is insane, and it is just peak for gathering metal and obviously transporting it around. It doesn't gather the metal, but if you pair it with an Anki, you're in a sweet spot. And I'm putting the Anki sort of here on the list as well, because I think they both deserve to be here in their own right. They're both fantastic creatures, and they deserve to be on the best Ark creatures list, because at the end of the day, they really are the go-to. They're basically on every single map, and you can use them on any map that supports flyers, of course, and you will love them with no issues whatsoever. While they might not be as fast as a Pteranodon, they certainly have a lot more use, in my opinion. At number 3, we have got the Shadowman, and come on, this really does deserve to be here at the end of the day. The Shadowman obviously came out on Genesis Part 2. It's quite a new creature, but it does a lot. It has the pack buff, of course. It can go invisible when both a male and a female are present, and it's got absolutely insane mobility. It is crazy how far this thing can jump. It has the hydration buff too, so with that great mobility pack buff, it can charge its damage up over time as well. Truly amazing abilities which you can find on the Shadowman. I really do have to put it in at the number 3 spot. I love it as a creature. I think it needs to be on here because it is just an absolutely insane one. I love the Shadowman to bits for all of its damage, its boss use, its travel, its versatility as an underwater mount. It's great for all of the above. In number 2, I'm sort of snaking in 2 creatures again because I couldn't really decide, the Mwing and the Desmodus. So let's first just talk about the Desmodus. It spawns on Fjorda. It is a truly incredible mount, and I do love the Desmodus for the Sanguine Elixir. It makes taming so much easier. It can pick players off mounts easily. So for you PvP players out there, this one's for you. And on top of that, it is great at gliding too. Truly fantastic creature for all of the uses above. Cool tame methods as well, same as the Bloodstalker, but still cool nonetheless. And then we get onto the Mwing, probably one of the easiest tames just in Ark, and definitely the easiest tame on the list by far. This creature can carry around babies, is the best travel mount in the game, no questions asked, acts as a portable feeding trough with those realistic milk animations, and on top of all of that too, it can gather berries, and it's a pretty great swimmer as well. So if you haven't already and you have access to a Mwing, then please go and tame yourself a Mwing. You will definitely not regret it. Same goes for the Desmodus. And finally, in number 1, to be expected really, the Deinonychus. I can't get enough of this creature. I love the Deinonychus, obviously spawning on Valguero and just being the absolute king of the map in my opinion. I love the Deinonychus to bits. Its tame method is not too dissimilar from the Wyvern, although a lot easier, because escaping Dines is a lot easier than escaping Wyverns, and the eggs aren't as inaccessible. On top of that as well, the rage time's less and all of that. The saddle is also included with the creature because wyverns famously don't have a saddle, and having a saddle is way better for defense. They have the bleed ability. They can scale walls with no ease. They take with absolute ease, sorry. They take no fall damage whatsoever, and they have the pack buff on top of it too. They can deal bleed damage to bosses on top of that, which really sets them in stone as the best Ark creatures in my opinion. I can't get enough of them. And again, if you have not already, please go tame yourself a Deinonychus, because they are great creatures. If you're on Valguero, tame yourself a Deinonychus, transfer it to any other map that you might be on, because they are going to be the most useful creatures to you, in my opinion, and the best creatures out there. But anyway, that is the end of today's video. I really hope that you all did enjoy, as I definitely did enjoy making this one. Just before you go, the Patreon is doing a Q&A, and everyone will be able to participate, from free members right to the highest tier. So feel free to leave your Q&A questions in the comments below. Subscribed patrons though, and obviously paid patrons, will get the priority, so please go over there. There will be a link to the Patreon in a pinned comment. This video has also been out 24 hours earlier than it is now on YouTube, on the Patreon of course, and most videos come out a week early too. You'll get extended cuts, exclusive videos as well. I'm going to Japan soon. There's going to be an exclusive Japan video, and on top of that, you really do get to support me as a creator and let me keep doing the things that I do, and I'd really appreciate any support that I could possibly get. Anyway, Patreon rant over. Comment below, what is the best Ark Tame to you in your wonderful opinion, as I'm sure you've got some great things to say about this list, and I will see you all later. Bye.